States has an enormous amount of talent available to them.
So do you have any examples of who's advising you on national security?
I could probably name a lot of people. I don't have all their permissions. I did talk extensively last weekend with Henry Kissinger, and he said it was okay to let people know that.
Dr. Carson, I know you don't want to name names necessarily, but can you explain how you're beefing up on your foreign policy? Is this a daily briefing that you're getting?
I get daily briefings, yes. And I have a number of people that I can talk to about anything that I'm curious about. And anything that comes up, you know, I get on the phone and talk to people about it.
Are these generals in the military as well, or?
Some of them are generals in the military, some of them are.
General D is your main person for foreign policy?
Yes.
Do you speak with him daily?
Regularly.
Dr. Carson, Republican candidate Ted Cruz has identified 5 government agencies that he would eliminate. Are there any specific agencies that you would eliminate, and if so, which ones?
Well, you know, there are 645 government agencies and sub-agencies. So you have a big smorgasbord to choose from. There's no question about that. What I would look at, quite frankly, is the cost-to-benefit ratio of each one of those agencies. Are they benefiting us more than they are costing us? And if they are not, then I would certainly look toward eliminating.
You said in the wake of the Paris attacks that you would assemble an international coalition to defeat ISIS. This morning you were on Fox and you couldn't name a specific country or a specific leader who you would call first. So who would you call first in assembling this coalition?
Well, I think all of the nations in the whole region should be called upon. You know, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, United Arab Emirates. You know, everybody should be called. There's nobody who doesn't have an interest in securing that area and in making sure that you don't have, you know, radical Islamists destroying them next.
So working with our partners in the Middle East, is there any specific leader or country that you think should lead this coalition?
I think everybody should be involved. I'm not ready to prioritize and say that one is more important than the other. I think they all should be very cognizant of what the risk is for them. And I don't think it's so much that they're reluctant to join as it is that they're looking out for their own welfare. And they recognize that if they make themselves a target and then you have radicals coming after them, they're not confident that we would be behind them. And perhaps there is some reason that they shouldn't be confident. And I don't like what we've done with our allies. And I think we really should make sure that our allies know that we are their friends and that we have their back.
What don't you like that we've done with our allies?
I don't like what we've done with Israel, for instance. I was in Israel within the last year. I couldn't find a single person there who didn't think we had turned our backs on them. You look at Ukraine, and you know, they gave up a lot when they gave up their nuclear capabilities. And there was an understanding that we would be there, and we were not there. We wouldn't even give them offensive weapons. I don't think that that kind of thing is lost on others.
What is your refugee policy?
Excuse me?
Well, what would be your refugee policy when all of this unfolds?
You mean in terms of the Syrian refugees?
Yes.
Well, I believe we should be compassionate toward the Syrian refugees and should use our resources and our talents to try to help them get settled over there. I do not believe that we should be bringing them here. And the reason I don't think we should bring them here is because it would be too easy to embed within them those who were members of the jihadist group who would be interested in wreaking havoc in this country. There's no reason that we should be facilitating such a thing.
Dr. Carson, this morning on Fox News, you were asked about putting ground troops in Iraq and Syria for ground war. And you mentioned we already have troops there already. How many people do we need there? Are you saying if the threat continues that you're not going to consider putting ground troops on?
I'm not sure how you would derive that from what I said.
Can you expound?
I said we already have ground troops there. We may or may not need to add more. We certainly need to add more capability. We need to use all the resources available to us, including intelligence and special ops groups. Utilizing special ops in conjunction with the Kurds, yielded, Sinjar. That's great. Sinjar was captured, and it was, cutting off the supply routes, gaining control to everything regarding access, and then supporting the Kurds in terms of equipment and advice, and with air support. And it's a formula that works. And so we should continue to use the formulas that work. And I believe if we do that, we will suddenly look like dependable leaders and winners, and people will be quite willing to join us when that is the case.
So you're saying ground troops only in conjunction with local military forces there?
I don't think we should do it all by any stretch of the imagination.
Do you believe there are additional steps in light of what happened in France we should take to secure potential terrorist targets such as the Las Vegas Strip?
I think obviously this is a wake-up call, recognizing that this is the very same kind of thing that could happen in this country. And we know that there are, embedded cells already here looking for opportunities. We need to be thinking, way ahead. What kinds of policies should we be looking at? And when we capture people in this country who have become radicalized or jihadists and have come here from elsewhere, and they have family members who have come here from elsewhere, we should give serious consideration to sending them back, all of their family. We should give serious consideration to looking at their imams and thinking about maybe sending them back. I mean, we need to get much more aggressive with this. Our problem is that we want to be everybody's friend, and we want to be politically correct, and we don't think about the welfare of our people. But the job of the President of the United States is to protect the people of this country and to do what is necessary to correct them, not to be everybody's friend.
Did you watch the debate last night?
Until I fell asleep.
What was your takeaway until you fell asleep?
Well, Hillary actually has a way to pay for all of her largesse. Take money from the rich. Isn't that a novel idea?
What did you think about the foreign policy discussion during the debate?
I probably fell asleep during it.
What's your Nevada strategy?
My Nevada strategy is the same as the strategy for all 50 states and all the territories and Washington, D.C. And that is to take into consideration all of our citizens and to try to be fair to everybody.
Carson, what is your point of view on immigration? There are more than 11 million of immigrants here, that many of them have been deported in the past month. What is your point of view on that?
Well, my point of view is that we need to seal the border, and we have the ability to do that. I think we could easily do it within the space of 1 year.
How exactly would you do that?
Excuse me?
How exactly would you do that?
Yuma County in Arizona was able to decrease illegal crossings by 97%. The way they did it is they had a double fence with an asphalt road in between, which allowed quick access. They put border guards on the border. Imagine that. And they prosecuted first-time offenders rather than the catch and release program. I think if you add to that some more modern technology, motion detection, and drones, you could pretty much get it to 100%. I think you also have to eliminate all the things that would attract people to come here, and you won't have anybody even trying to breach that border.
Such as what? What attracts people? What would you eliminate?
Any kind of benefit that a person who is illegal would get, you would eliminate.
Using drones in what way?
Surveillance, early detection of people, and it can very easily alert the border guards that somebody is in a zone approaching the fence.
On
And
the
with
US
the
side?
immigrants that are here, what will you do with them?
I was coming to that before I was so rudely interrupted. Basically, there's 11 and a half or so, we don't know the exact number, who are already here. If they have a pristine record, they're not criminals, I would provide a 6-month period in which they could get registered. They would have to pay a back tax penalty, and they would have to continue paying taxes going forward. And they would have to be willing to work as guest workers, have a job in a sector where they were needed. That does not give them citizenship, does not give them voting rights. If they want those things, they have to go through exactly the same process that anybody else would have to go through in order to get them. Still not quite finished. We are a compassionate nation, and we need to be thinking about the people who are trying so desperately to get in here. Why are they trying to get in here so desperately? Because the conditions in their own homes are not that great. We have American companies right now in other places in the world, like Cameroon, who are developing millions of acres of incredibly fertile land, getting terrific crops, making great profits, but in the process, building up the infrastructure of that country, providing employment there, and teaching the people there the mega ag business, which gives them the ability to continue on themselves, and at the same time making friends for America without borrowing billions of dollars from China, paying interest on it, and giving it to that country. We can do the same thing in Central America and South America. And that's, I think, the kind of thing that is much more characteristic of the American way.
Dr. Carson, at this morning's church service, you mentioned the part of your biography that's been criticized some by the media and by Donald Trump. Not so interested in what you have to say about the media at this particular moment, but specifically what you said when you said the media and Donald Trump don't understand the power of God. Could you just tell us a little bit more about what you meant in regards to Mr. Trump on that?
I meant they don't understand that a person can be changed by accepting the power of God into their lives. To them, that's foolishness.
And specifically referring to Mr. Trump?
I'm saying anybody who doesn't understand the ability of people to be converted. Obviously, they don't understand that power.
Okay, folks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.